Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Had 3 shows yesterday. I'm still really mad about the Harmony Montgomery show. It's just always something with that case. That little girl deserves a lot more. A lot more. Had a bit of a beautiful tribute to Michaela Jones last night. And of course, we were talking about Casey and Vicky yesterday morning. So who's America's favorite couple right now? Is it Johnny Depp and Amber Turd, or is it Lurch and Bangs? You guys be the decision maker here, because they're both getting a lot of talk. Let's see who's in here. Janice was having problems getting her reminder. I don't know what's going on with that. I just say every now and then, go in there and hit the bell again and hit remind all. I don't know. I wish I knew. I mean, sometimes I'm like, just set an alarm, 9 a.m. Central. And then during the show, you'll hear if there's another show or check the channel, because I don't know what they're doing. Eddie, good morning. Hillbilly, good morning. Uli, good morning. Hello, two Boston moms. There's Sonia, just me. Hello, Juicy Tequila Bobo. Chris Melcher. Bea Shiner. Pat, what's up, my friend Pat? Misty, how you doing, my friend? Lisa said happy Mother's Day, y'all. Yes, we're going into Mother's Day weekend, so don't forget, at noon today, Central Time, we're having a Mother's Day live. It's in the members channel, so you don't want to miss it. Definitely don't want to miss it. What up, Buttercup? Well, what up with you? Fruit Loop, good morning. Sarah, good morning. Darkness Exposed, love that name. Good morning. Teresa, good morning. I'll be Frank. Hello. Outlaws here. Gina was loving your comments yesterday. Don't be afraid to grab that link and come up. Loving your comments. Hello, Bonnie. If I miss somebody, I apologize. I'll grab you later as I see it come up. So, with this case, Casey White and his cougar girlfriend, Vicky. Casey is 38 and Vicky, I think is she 54 or 56? Age difference doesn't really matter. This case matters because it's beyond bizarre. Okay? So today's a week that they've been missing. So basically everything I've been saying about him standing out like a sore thumb obviously isn't true, because they haven't been found. I'm starting to think that she already had a safe place, a little hidey hole somewhere, and they're laying low until all the coverage dies down. I heard that she was actually at a hotel the night before, which is odd. Very odd. So who knows what kind of supplies she had stocked up in that car she bought? Who knows? She was seen buying men's clothes. I think they said a week before. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think they already had a place picked out? Because somebody would have seen them. Now, there have been a lot of tips that have come in, reported sightings. Nothing's come of it. Don't want to discourage anybody from calling in a tip. It's almost kind of like a Brian Laundrie thing right now. Anybody that kind of resembled Brian Laundrie, that dude got a phone call. So it's kind of looking like any white dude that's, about 6'9", they're like, that could be him. I don't know. Not discouraging anybody for calling in a tip, though. Sightings have been reported. Arkansas, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, Florida, and Illinois. Okay, and of course, nothing's come of these tips. Not discouraging anybody for calling in a tip. Kind of wonder how they missed Georgia, because they said they were eyeing Florida. I'm going to look at an article. Her mother-in-law gave I think it was to Daily Beast. This is in the New York Post, saying that she had always talked about Florida. I mean, what you've always talked about would be kind of obvious to me. Yep. So no arrests. So either they've gotten away, or it's mistaken identity. I don't know. I have no idea. Tinfoil brat, for God's sake, there's always a Florida connection. Isn't that the truth, sister? What in the world is going on there? What is going on? Sonia said, with my luck, they're going to want to borrow my car. Don't let them borrow your car, Sonia. These aren't good people. They're not good people. But who is good people besides all of you is our friend Shannon Georgia Peach. Good morning, Shan.
Good morning. How are you? Good Friday.
Good. Oh, it's a Friday going into Mother's Day. Absolutely.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Yeah. So some more stuff came out overnight we're going to talk about. Seems like every day there's some new revolution in this case, and it's the craziest thing I've just about ever run across.
Yeah. Honestly, she's been planning this, I think, for a long time. I think she's planned the route, however you want to say that, the route that they took. I think they took back roads. They can't be in that orange car. There's no way. It's possible, but I doubt it. I heard that was an oopsie leak too early, but it didn't hurt the case. I don't know if you heard that.
I heard that. We're going to go more into that later in the show.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is the trust they had in her and the 6-hour head start.
Yeah, and I question, that she was like the supervisor.
She was a director.
And at 9 a.m. is when the transport vans took prisoners to court. So she waited till 9:30 on purpose to do this little ruse of the mental court date check at 9:30 to leave with him by themselves.
And again, it's an oddity that nobody questioned this appointment. That appointment never existed.
Yeah. And then I heard something about, she said that she was not going to return back to work because she had a doctor's appointment. Meaning, I guess she was going to drop him back off and then go to a doctor's appointment. That way, that gave them more time. People aren't paying attention if the guys come back or not. But if she's not there, they're thinking, oh, she's at a doctor's appointment. I heard that through one of the reports.
I don't know if you heard that. I had not heard that she told him she wasn't returning to work. Well, obviously, it's a big deal when she doesn't bring him back.
Right. I was like, well, how, she would have to bring him back. But if she's not there that afternoon, like I said, they've got a lot going on. They're not paying attention. And if she's not there, oh, she's at a doctor's appointment. So maybe that was part of her. I need that extra time for me to get out of here, those extra hours or hour, whatever it was.
Oh, she had no plan to return to work. She didn't want them looking for her, but they're definitely going to be looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely going to be looking for him. But last Friday was supposed to be her last day of work, period. Why even tell them you had a doctor's appointment? Who would care? You're retiring anyway. Right. So that's just some added nonsense that didn't need to be there. More confusion. And on top of that, she doesn't have to worry about that anymore because the sheriff confirmed she's been fired. She has no pension or anything now. Yep, so whatever she thought was going to be, she was going to have access to is all gone. She was terminated.
I have a feeling she knew that wasn't a possibility unless she thought that if caught, she could manipulate her way into saying that she was kidnapped, which
we saw her walking out in front of him. If they are caught and she's still alive, we're definitely going to have some sort of mental illness, Stockholm syndrome defense.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that.
Oh, I did not know this. Hang on. Sheriff stated warrants will be used for Vicky for buying the Ford Edge under a false name. Wonder how
Oh,
that happened, especially since they have released 2 more aliases she uses. Mm.
that's crazy. What and and oh, I also heard that, when she sold the house for way under, um now I hear it's 95, which it doesn't matter, 90, 95, but that she lived with her mother and that her mother didn't even know that she was retiring. Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah, I heard that on one of the major news networks,
Hmm.
that her mother didn't even know that she was retiring. So,
Mm.
yeah, this is all planned. There's no way out of this.
The house is the first red flag for me. This is a
Mhm.
seller's market, okay?
Yep.
It
Yep.
appraises for almost $300,000. She does a short sale basically, and it could be one of those places that like just will buy your house for cash type of thing.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that's what happened, but yeah, I mean, 90 grand. You left all that money on the table. So we were in a hurry. Something was going on.
Mhm.
Probably his court trial coming up, I believe in June. She wanted to get him out of there before, you know.
Yeah,
I
she had limited time. Yeah.
I agree with Snow. The escape was very strategic. Gina, I have her comment on the screen. She said, I had no indication she was under duress in that video. Me either. She holds the
No.
door for him,
Yep.
backs him. It was as if they were walking out, with the exception of the orange jumpsuit and the shackles, like they were heading out to get a bite to eat.
And I watched that video again and I paid real close attention to his feet. And usually in shackles, you notice they have almost like a waddle. And he was almost walking pretty normal with those shackles on. So they were not tight at all. Of course, they
Well,
were going to be let off soon, anyways.
that's why
But,
I had to watch it a couple of times because I couldn't even tell, probably didn't have my glasses on, that he even had shackles on. I'm like, oh, he does. They're just extremely loose.
yeah, because he walked it's almost like he just walked out kind of normal. There wasn't that, like I said, like they had that wobble, back and forth wobble with the leg restraints on, and I didn't see that. It
Yeah,
was loosey goosey.
and of course she had the keys. I mean, he probably had himself unchained. I mean, before they got out of the parking lot. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like he's still in them. I don't even know why that's discussed.
Yeah, right. Here, babe. Here's the keys. Go ahead and start unlocking. We're out of the parking lot, whatever, the gate, however that goes.
Hang on. I'll be frank said they stayed in a hotel where the vehicle was found. I thought the vehicle was found. No, that's the police cruiser. Dang, it's something every day.
Mm-hmm.
Phew. All right, I'm going to go through some comments from the last show. Hold on. Okay, Trice said no one was watching the boss at all. I just know from my time working in the jail environment that plenty of her fellow employees knew about their special relationship. Wow. Uh,
Yeah.
if he's getting extra bread with dinner, they would notice that, correct? I would think.
And it seems like that's what's coming out now, is that she was giving him extra food and attention, and that should have been well, you're the supervisor director person. There's always somebody over somebody else's head, you know, that's inappropriate, but
Hmm.
I guess nobody wanted to say anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Fine Art on Fire said, I wonder if she's realized yet that he only used her to get out. He really didn't give two craps about her. No, and that's what I keep thinking too. At some point, she is going to become a liability. He'll take the guns, he'll take the cash, he'll be gone. He's going to get too impatient being in hiding.
until she's like, he needs her for her expertise, the planning, the place, whatever. And once he's done with that, he will no longer need her. She will become a liability because they're looking for both of them together. And you get rid of her, then he can do his thing, and hide out himself.
Well, and also she's the one that would have to be doing all the running around. Obviously, she's probably changed her appearance. I'm going to put some pictures up of, what she's going to look like with dark hair. He's got some tattoos. You guys are going to enjoy those pictures. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Let's see. CLH said the fact that she turned her back on a prisoner was my first tip. A friend worked with certain forensic psych patients when they were escorted to x-ray or therapist's office. They were always ahead of them, not behind. Often there was LE guarding them as well. Too nonchalant walking out. We watched that video and we're like, she doesn't seem to be showing any caution at all.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed. And the way she held the door open for him in front of him and then walked out to the car as if, they were boyfriend and girlfriend leaving a restaurant and he's walking out behind. They're not even close at that point once he goes out that second door. So that's huge.
Camper Bill actually has a theory where they could be. Camper Bill said, I think they escaped via the Natchez Trace Parkway, easily accessible from Florence, remote and all woods for hundreds of miles and little or no law enforcement around. But for one park ranger patrolling the entire parkway north to south, the vultures up in the sky should lead to her body. I missed that part, but okay.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people saying, I think they could be here. It could be here. Mary said, such a shame. She was so influenced by this monster. Letting her house go at that low price is the most ridiculous step she could take. She was blinded by love, in quotes. What did he have to offer her? Why do some women want a man and will lower themselves for any type? Well, we talked about that on the show yesterday. We played that clip from Dr. Phil about women who they go after prisoners. There's a long list. Fantasy, the whole I can fix him mentality, the Cinderella complex. There was one word I can't remember. I mean, they're damaged, low self-esteem.
They make excuses. What was that one word where they starts with an R? They convince themselves. I forget. I had it written down.
Yeah, girlfriend, I thought you were taking notes. Either way, I
know. Now I lost my notes.
I have no sympathy for her.
Hybristophilia is what that's called. And yeah, that's the main name that it was called, but I didn't write down. I remember the Cinderella, but they make excuses for themselves.
My question is, I'm not a doctor, okay? Don't pretend to be one. When is dumbass going to be a diagnosis? You're just a dumbass. Yeah. We don't need a fancy word. You're just a dumbass.
I like that diagnosis because there's a lot of those.
I could set up shop right now.
Yeah. I think we all have a few in mind.
Yeah. Lorraine said, as a retired prison nurse, you never turn your back on an inmate, never. Yep.
She knew, I don't know. I guess she knew people weren't paying attention to her. Not that close. Anyway. And when has there ever been a case that this ended in true love or, the man wasn't, or the vice versa, whoever, the prisoner was not using the guard to get out of jail? When has there ever been it's just true love and they were madly in love and had to be together and it ended well? Has that ever happened? No.
Situation like this can't. And let's go back to one of the oldest rules in the book. The way you catch them is how you lose them. Okay, Vicky?
Yep.
You got him out of jail. You're going to lose him back to the jail, and you're going to be in there with him. Not in the same cell, obviously, but it's not going to go down good.
Ugh. Yeah, I can't. I just don't. I get, like you said yesterday, the bad boy mentality, but that's like as a teenager, oh, that's hot. He's tough or whatever. But a man in prison who's never gonna get out probably because of murder, and he's a bad guy.
Oh yeah, he's not in there for money laundering.
No,
he's a violent criminal. Amanda B, what's up, my friend? Got a fella Okie in here. Okay, so yet another victim of Casey's spoke to the news yesterday. So I'm going to listen to that real quick because there is nobody coming out of the woodwork to tell you that Casey's misunderstood. It's one person after another saying, violent, 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 piece of shit, piece of shit, piece of shit. There is nobody saying, oh, he was a really sweet kid. Nope, it's all over. Bear with me while I put this up. I've got so many tabs open.
It is very dangerous. He's dangerous to everybody that is around him. And it's a scary situation.
Well, all new at 9, a former victim of Vicky White begging the deputy accused of brazenly helping him escape to turn herself in before she, too, becomes his next victim.
Yeah, and that plea coming as brand new security video is released from the Lauderdale Detention Center. In it, we see Vicky White and Vicky White walking out of the facility. Investigators now say the two had a special relationship. Our Stephen Moody has more of that new video and some sketches, too, just released of the two from the U.S. Marshal Service.
And Stephen, Vicky White is certainly not very hard to miss.
Yeah, that's right, Lenise and Byron. This photo behind me gives us a better look at the height difference between Vicky White and Vicky White. As you can see, Casey is 6'9", meaning he'd most likely need to duck under standard door frames. And tonight, 6 days after his escape, we're getting a look at just how easily he and Vicky were able to walk out of jail. In this newly released video, former correctional officer Vicky White is seen arriving at the jail in her patrol car. Moments later, she is seen leaving with Vicky White. Later, that same patrol car is seen passing by a gas station. These videos were shot the same day that the pair was reported missing. Since then, inmates have said the two had a special relationship while Casey was in the Lauderdale County Detention Center. He was already serving time for a 2015 crime spree and was charged with capital murder in 2020. As the search continues for the pair, a previous victim of Vicky White has this message for Vicky.
If she's still alive, which I don't know if she is, because I feel like he has manipulated her and she's disposable to him. If she is still alive, get the hell out. Run as far as you can and turn yourself in and contact somebody. Like, do the right thing before you lose your life or before somebody else does.
There's still a $10,000 reward for Vicky White. And in a news conference Monday, Sheriff Rick Singleton revealed that an arrest warrant has been filed for Vicky.
We have had a warrant issued for Director Vicky White. The charges are permitting or facilitating an escape in the first degree. That's Alabama Code 13A 2034.
And take another good look at Casey White and Vicky White. Investigators say that this is the car they may be driving. Once again, there is a reward for the capture of both of them. Live in studio, Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
You might be asking yourself, can you actually create high...
Turn my mic back on. All right, so yet someone else comes out and she's like, I think she's been manipulated by him. I'm just, I don't know. She made a lot of plans for someone who, it was impossible for him to be in her ear all the time. I mean, unless she got him snuck some contraband in there and he was on a cell phone. That's the only thing I can think of. Still, the man in jail, these are conscious decisions she made. When they found out that there was no appointment for him to be seen last Friday, that throws all that out the window. So when she tries to claim victim, if she makes it to that point, that's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one. I'm going to put some screenshots up. They're dangerous. They're dangerous. Again, the danger at the bottom. If you think you see them, don't approach them. Call 911. There's been a lot going around about how they've disguised themselves.
About weapons?
Yeah, about how they've disguised themselves. One that I saw and I was like, oh, this actually makes sense. She could actually be trying to make herself look much older and have him in a wheelchair. You know, blanket over his legs, a hat on. So it basically looks like someone taking care of their son, you know?
A mask, because that's, like you said, people are still wearing masks out there. And if he's in a wheelchair, that's perfect. You can't really tell the height as much. Whoa. Okay,
and let's think about this, what Fruit Loop said. She's released a monster who is a danger to the public.
Absolutely.
All right, so they put some pictures out of his tattoos, and okay. I'm having a hard time not stating the obvious, but those are the tattoos. Looks like we have some supremacy going on there on the back, and yeah. And the bottom, that shows what she would look like with darker hair. I'm still thinking, I'm looking at, what, other comments I've been reading. They're like, she's not going to be so obvious just to go from blonde to brown. She's going to try to make look older. They were like, check medical supplies, see if her mom if she ever took a wheelchair from her mom's house. And I'm like, wow.
Good point. I just don't understand why they keep showing her uniformed, younger looking picture more than, I know this picture's altered,
They're not now. What they're doing is, when these things happen, they get the most readily available picture they can to get it out in front of the public. Then they put out
until they can get it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right.
He's got man boobs, dude.
He's just, he doesn't even look good. Not that that's an excuse, but you know what I mean? Like,
no, that on the screen is what she threw her entire life, retirement, and home away for.
Like, why would you do this?
Oh my God.
She is in very much danger. Oh. Oof. And he looks different in every picture, like when he's bald, when he's got facial hair, a little bit of face, like he actually, you got to really look at those eyes.
I agree. That's what I was thinking too. Every picture I see of him, he looks different. He looks totally different without facial hair. Then when he grows it out, every haircut, it changes all of his looks. The only thing that doesn't change besides the big boobs is the fact that he's 6'9" and he's got huge ears.
Yeah. But every picture, he looks like a different person. So the height thing, you can't take that away.
Nope. That's why I'm wondering if he's walking around, I think he's having to hide. Mr. Quinn Brooks, I have a question. Why does both of their where they have the same last name? They're not related. White's a common last name. Hello, Emma. It's like if both of their last names were Smith. I mean, that's a very common last name.
Right. Crazy coincidence, though. I can say that. Crazy.
Super crazy. I mean, if like both of their last names were, I'm trying to think of a really unusual last name, then I'd be like, nah, they got to be related. But, you know, and yet he's gross. He's scary looking. He's a psychopath.
Right.
So, yeah, he's not hiding the fact that he's almost 7 foot and those ears, you see him coming 10 miles away.
What did you call him at the beginning of the show?
Oh, I saw it in an article. I was reading one of the articles and somebody put in the comments, way to go, Lurch and Bangs.
That's what I like that. That's funny.
All right, so this
Johnny.
came out this morning. New York Post. I believe the article was originally in the Daily Beast. Her mother-in-law said, she's yet another one, believes that she has been manipulated. Okay. There's no video, so I'm just going to have to read it. The Alabama jail official who allegedly absconded with a capital murder suspect may have been brainwashed into helping him escape, according to her former mother-in-law. If I was her former mother-in-law, maybe he's got her brainwashed. Frances White, 88, told the Daily Beast about Casey Cole White, who vanished with Vicky White, the assistant director of corrections for Lauderdale County. Well, she was driving, Frances, and he let her out.
I don't think she is brainwashed. I just don't.
No, I think this is a fantasy and a midlife crisis gone very wrong.
Yes.
Police had said Tuesday that Vicky and Casey, who are not related, developed a special relationship after she had gotten cozy with him during her shifts at the jail. The sheriff's office declined to expound on what it meant by special relationship. Well, they've said more about that. No, I don't need that. Frances also described Vicky as frugal, telling the Daily Beast that she had saved a substantial amount of money, which could help her remain on the lam for some time. But yet she sold her house for way under market value. And I believe she was a big saver. I believe she saved a lot of money. It's just her. I can't really see that she had really anything else to spend her money on. Well, I mean, except buying the getaway car and clothes for Lurch.
I heard she had no social life and her job was her life. So she probably didn't spend much money.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Frances said in a phone interview Tuesday, she had said she'd like to live in Florida. That's the only thing I can think of. She said her son, Thomas White, died in January from complications related to Parkinson's disease. So Frances loses her son in January. Now the former daughter-in-law, because I believe Thomas and Vicky were divorced but remain close friends, is nationwide news and fell in love with a capital murder suspect. Frances goes on to say, I'm just proud he wasn't still alive because he still thought she was a good person. She said, I can't imagine her running off with that guy, but you never know. He walked into a woman's house and stabbed her. You don't know.
Nope. I feel bad for her, because she did lose her son, and it is a good thing he's not alive to see this, because he would probably be freaking out.
Oh, I imagine. Well, because let's face it, she was married to him. You get divorced and the next one she picks up to spend her life with is a capital murder suspect. I think a lot of people would take that very personal.
Yeah.
You divorced me. Yeah, we remained friends. And your next major relationship was with a prisoner. That would kind of hurt. Don't you think?
I just can't get over how dangerous he is and how she knows everything about him. It just boggles my mind how she could even think for 1 second she could save him, or she fell in love with him, or whatever the case may be. What is wrong with you? I mean, I pray she makes it through this. I really do.
I do too, because I want to hear her side of the story, which I have a feeling is going to be a lot of word salad with extra ranch. We're going to have to hear we're going to have to hear that she, like I said, Stockholm syndrome, manipulated, right. She felt threatened. It's going to be stuff like that. She can't come out there and just tell the world, well, I fell in love with him.
She's the director. She didn't feel threatened because there's already evidence that this was planned and plotted. So you weren't scared of anything. You could have easily gone to the warden or whoever's above and said, look, I need help. I need away from this inmate, da 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 da. But she didn't do that. So there's no way she could say this.
Oh, she can say it, but doesn't mean that anyone's going to believe it.
Yeah.
No. Everybody has a defense. We just don't have to say, I see where you're coming from. We're going to be like, no. Good try, but no. All right, so I'm curious about this too. Buttercup put this in, and now Jetta. So her ex dies from complications of Parkinson's. Did he still have her on his life insurance policy? All of this has been planned over the last few months. What complications? I'm kind of wondering if they don't need to look into what really happened to him. Seems like we have a lot of odd things between selling a home, an ex dying of complications, many other things that have happened all around Vicky in the last few months. Not trying to throw out any conspiracy theory, but it's odd, right, guys?
It's a good point, and I know all about Parkinson's, and I'd be curious to know what exactly complications did he pass away from. That would be my first question. Would be what was the final, obviously he had Parkinson's, but what actually caused his death?
Could it be Vicky? I don't know.
I don't know, because they've known each other since 2020.
Well, that's her and Casey. I'm talking about her ex-husband.
Yeah, I know.
January. So
when did they get a divorce? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know. I read it somewhere and I can't remember now. I just see a lot of odd things happen around Vicky kind of all at once.
Yeah, January, February. I'm sorry if it's raining here. I'm sorry if y'all can hear all that.
I can hear you. You.
Okay, good.
I'll be frank said, I swear she's going to turn up and be like, April Fools, guys, I got you. Yeah, she's going to get an April Fools. She's going to get an April Fools. Okay, so the party with Casey never ends. They are now re-examining a case from 2008. Christy Shelton. I believe that they thought that she committed suicide, but now they're re-examining the case. You guys aren't going to believe who she was dating at the time of her death. The one and only Lurch with the big boobs.
Yeah, I would definitely re-examine that. And wasn't it with a shotgun?
We're going to hear about it right now.
All right.
So they're opening that back up. Kind of, him and Vicky are starting to have a lot more in common than I thought, because everywhere they go, something bad happens. Exactly, AP. Justice for Christy.
Yeah.
Now
The Limestone County Sheriff's Office is reopening an investigation into the death of Casey White's ex-girlfriend in 2008. Now, this comes as the hunt for Casey White, the murder suspect, and for the female jail guard continues.
The investigation involves
Thank you, Danielle.
7 years after the death of Shelton, Casey White shot his ex-girlfriend during a crime spree, sending him to prison for 75 years. Now, Casey White remains on the run. More of his dark, violent past comes into light. He is still on the run. His spokesperson for the Limestone County Sheriff's Department says that they are in contact and communicating with the family to open up this re-investigation of this case. For now, we're live. Archie Snowden, News 19.
Oh,
It gets better and better. Every day, somebody else comes out with a story about Casey that is never sunshine and rainbows.
I feel so bad for Christy's daughter, and it does. It opens up that wound again, and she obviously felt it was funky from the beginning, and now she's basically asking for help to look back into this. And I hope she gets that help, and I hope they do investigate it.
Well, it's reopened, and I mean, good for her making a social media video saying, I hope this gets in the right hands, because that rattles cages for sure. And I mean, he's with her the night of when she is shot in the chest. That's a very odd way for a woman to commit suicide. Most people would commit, if they are going to do that, trigger warning, not saying, I don't want anybody to do anything. They're normally alone.
Yep.
They wouldn't be hanging out with their boyfriend. And I agree with Just Me. He has a pattern, and Vicky is next. It seems like he gets with these women, and when he doesn't need them anymore, they're dead.
I agree with that completely. And, the first question would be, in that investigation, did they do gunshot residue on his hands? All that stuff, or did they just immediately call it what it was and said case closed? I don't know. This is just sad that.
That's what I want to know too. Did they take his? I don't know that he had a record at the time. Did they just take his story that she just grabbed this sawed-off shotgun? I heard it was a sawed-off shotgun, and shot herself in the chest. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, poor woman." Or did they see if he had any residue on him? It's reopened now.
Exactly. Did they just say, believe his story and then called it a day? Because it happens.
We heard in the news article, but I'm going to look again real quick. I can't remember where they said. I think they said Limestone County, but I want to be. Hang on. Let me see. Christy Shelton. Let's see. Limestone County. Do you guys know where that's at?
I never heard of that. Is anybody from Alabama?
I don't think he went too far. It just kind of seems he did all his dirty deeds in Alabama. So let's see what it's by. Looks like it's out. Let me see. I don't know. This is showing Georgia.
Ooh.
Outside of Athens.
Okay, that's down south. That's like mid-south, southern Georgia. Huh. So, do we know where he's from, like, originally?
Oh, yeah, and he wreaks havoc everywhere he goes. Fun to Ski said yes. Hang on. Limestone County and had a long history of crime. Okay. Well, it's back open now. It's back open now. And really, does he need more charges stacked on him? The dude was already going to spend the rest of his life in jail. But I mean, get justice for everybody he's harmed. Everybody.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Maybe it's more for they changed that death certificate from suicide to homicide.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know, and get
Absolutely.
justice for that family for sure. Yes, I agree.
Oh, that needs to be done, period. So, I mean, that way the daughter can actually get, some sort of victim's compensation or something.
Right.
And on top of that, I hope Casey understands for him to serve all the sentences that are coming his way, he would have to live to be the age of Moses.
Yeah, that's why he's so dangerous. He has nothing to lose. Even police officers, if they come across him, their lives are in danger.
I heard on the news last night, hopefully I heard it right. I don't have an article or anything to back it up. It was on News Nation, and they said that the U.S. Marshals said he is now a shoot to kill prisoner, meaning that I guess they don't even care if they bring him back to jail. If they come across him, they'll more than likely kill him.
Wow. That's huge. I hope they're hiding out, and I hope that they're caught, and I hope they're not just running the roads, back roads, or whatever it is they're doing, and go on some spree. What kind of spree or something.
I worry about that too. I
Yeah.
worry about him wanting, getting that itch again, and he's going to go on a crime spree. At this point, it
might
looks
as well,
At this point, it looks to me like she had a place picked out, and they're hiding. And I think she knows the ins and outs of the game, both sides of it, law enforcement and the criminal side, obviously. And it seems to me that she might just she might have him tucked away somewhere, had a bunch of supplies, and is just waiting for the media coverage to die down before they make their next move. I don't know. It makes sense to me.
Right. And then if he does, if he is done with her, that's when I believe he'll wreak havoc. I don't think he'll stay in one place. I really don't.
Yep, that's exactly what I think too. And they'll find her if that's his plan. If he decides he doesn't need her anymore, they'll find her, and then there's probably going to be a crime spree.
That's my thought, and that's what I'm worried about. And he's going to enjoy, and it's almost like he enjoys that. It's some sick thing, and he's just I'm going to go out with a bang. You know what I mean?
Like Gina said, blaze of glory. I hope not. I hope not.
I hope they're caught before anything happens to Vicky, even though Vicky, girl, you're going to jail. You did wrong. You not only put your own life in jeopardy, but you put the public's life in jeopardy. The police, the law enforcement's life in jeopardy. This is not some little I let this little inmate escape and I'm in love with him. This is bad. This is really, really bad.
Like I said, he's not in there for cheating on his taxes. He's a killer. He's a homicidal maniac. So the sheriff gave another interview yesterday where he cleared up a few things. So I'm going to play this real quick. Hang on. I say everything real quick, don't I? I'm going to play it real quick. Okay, I got to change the settings back. I changed them on one. Okay, it's on normal. Because they were talking real fast. So here we go.
Development is that we have some promising leads that we're still following up on. We hope that they pan out. Some of them look good. So, we're going to continue to follow those up. Of course, the word got out about the vehicle, so that has hindered us a little bit. We're hoping some law enforcement somewhere would spot that vehicle before the word got out to them that we knew what they were driving. When it hit social media yesterday, that sort of blew that in the water. So we're sort of back to square one. You know, we're assuming that they probably, if they haven't already, will ditch that vehicle. Which the good part about that is that means we will find it. And when we do, that'll give us an idea of what geographic area maybe they're in. Right now, won't have a clue.
You said you have some promising leads. Can you tell us kind of what makes these leads so promising?
Well, we've gotten several leads, and of course, in any case like this, most of them turn out to not pan out. But we do have a few leads that where we're getting some good information. It looks like there might be something to them. That's always encouraging when you get a lead like that in an investigation like this. So we're excited and hopeful that some of them will turn out.
Can you give us the nature of those leads?
They're just spotting, you know.
Where have they been spotting?
Well, there's several. We've had reports from several states that they've been spotted. So you know, and some of those have obviously not been the case. Others have. We've had you know, most recent incident we had a alleged spotting in Florida where supposedly a cashier at a convenience store was passing notes that I'm Vicky White, I've been kidnapped, help me, and that turned out it was not her. So it was a local hoax, I guess. But you know, just things like that.
So what are some of the states where you think it's viable that they've actually been in?
Well, we think anywhere in the Southeast, and we pretty much got tips from every state in the Southeast. So.
Okay, so what I read earlier, he believes they're in the Southeast because what I had gotten, now that was an article that I had gotten from, I believe it was News Nation, Ashley Banfield, Arkansas, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, Florida, and Illinois. So Florida's in the Southeast. I guess, do you consider Tennessee's not the Southeast? All right, so he's saying Alabama, Georgia, Florida, maybe South Carolina, maybe the Carolinas. We talked about the Appalachian Trail the other day.
I'm thinking mountains. Didn't it say something about she was a camper or into that or something? Or
she recently started joining groups for survivalists.
Yeah, see? There's you. I mean, go back and follow all those tips. I'm sure they are, but there's your clues right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great. I'm in the mountains in Georgia.
I know you are going to bring that up. BT26X. I'm glad you're covering this again. I'm nowhere near done with this. And for those of you that are new here, I see new names. Hit that sub button. I have honestly earned the nickname. It was flung at me like an insult, but it stuck and it's hilarious. Replay Queen, because I will beat a dead horse.
But you have to. And all hail the Replay Queen.
That was actually really funny when that was thrown at me. I died laughing. Does
Oh,
anybody?
and the birds in the video were his birds, not mine. So I just wanted to point that out. So the birds are all about it, but those were his birds.
Those are his birds. Okay.
Yeah.
We like birds. Sugar Britches said Tennessee is considered the Southeast. Okay. All right. Some people say the South. Some people call it the Mid-South, whatever you want to call it. Michelle says, stay away from Tennessee, please.
You know, we're still following up on those that do look like they have some promise. Some of them, like the one I just mentioned in Florida, have been immediately, you know, what's the word I'm sorry. Lost the word. Dismissed. Some of those, like the one we just got in Florida, have been immediately dismissed because we were able to identify right away that this was not her.
So is it safe to say, you know, the nation is aware of this couple and you guys have confidence at some point you'll find them?
Oh, yes, absolutely. My message to Vicky White this morning was that, you know, she's been in this business 17 years. She's seen this scenario play out numerous times over her career, and she knows how it always ends. You know, they always get caught. And so my plea to her was to turn herself in, help us get Casey White off the street, and then let's deal with it.
So if she knows how this all plays out.
I'm so glad he said that. She has seen this scenario. She knows the outcome. She knows. So basically, she has seen guards, officers, whatever, become friendly with inmates. Like he said, she knows how this is going to end. She knows how it's going to end.
We said this, and I'm sure she's seen guards get fired over inappropriate relationships just in the detention center, the jail where they're at. So she knows the game.
Oh, she knows, but her plan is not to return.
Nope.
I think this plan's been going on a lot longer. I still think she's the one that pulled the strings to get Lurch back to that jail in February.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think she took this risk?
I guess, that's why we got so many repeat offenders here. People think they're going to be the one that's going to be able to get away with it, and it never works that way. So, rare occasion they may get away with it, but not normal.
Let's kind of backtrack, Sheriff, to how this all happened. I've spoken with a few people who don't think she's acted alone. For the protocol to have been completely broken, they understand that she was the boss and the people under her were just probably following her lead. But there seems to be a consensus that it's not just her involved in this. What's your response?
Within the detention center, you mean other employees?
Yes.
Absolutely not. This plan was well orchestrated and planned. The other escort officers or transport officers had been already left the building. It's very obvious that this was well planned out. And Vicky White, knowing her like I do, I don't think she would have involved another employee in it.
Well, there he said it. This was very well planned. He said it.
Yeah.
This wasn't some spur of the moment. She decided the night before to get her boyfriend out. He said this was very well planned. I'm glad he said it. So, Vicky, just turn yourself in.
Yeah, she was complicit.
I didn't think she'd do this either. It's not to say she wouldn't have, but I absolutely do not believe there are any other employees involved. There's certainly been no evidence for that fact.
So it's, again, just a situation where she went to someone underneath her, told them to release Casey, and they were just following their boss's orders, and that's how she was able to walk out with him solo?
Absolutely. She directed one corrections officer on the hall to bring him to the booking room, get him ready for transport, which he did, and did it under protocol. She told the booking officer that all the other officers were gone, which the booking officer knew that because all transports come through the booking office. So she knew they were gone. She knew all four available deputies were gone. So when Deputy White told her that she was going to transport him to the jail and drop him off to the other two other deputies, there's really no reason for the booking officer to question it other than it was against policy. This is something that with lower class offenders, misdemeanors, low class felons, it was not unusual for Miss White to do that because they get in court, you got all these inmates and all these deputies, and then the judge says, "Oh, I need to see this inmate, and I want him here in 15 minutes."
Let's face it, guys' boxers are the best, but they're not made for women. Ladies, isn't it time we had our own box?
Well, now then everybody's tied up, so it wasn't unusual for her at last minute to grab an inmate, put him in her car, and transport him to the courthouse.
But Casey wasn't just any inmate.
Exactly.
He was
exactly. And he specifically, the protocol of two deputies was specifically reinforced with him.
Because he's so dangerous. The sheriff is saying it. If it's a misdemeanor, a low-level felony, okay, fine, we can bend the rule. If a judge says, I want him here in 15 minutes. But him specifically because he is a danger, and he'd already wreaked havoc in that jail once before. Imagine Boss Hogg's face when he found out that Lurch was coming back. He probably thought, how the hell did this happen?
Right.
I don't want him back here.
did he say that she was supposed to drop him off with 2 other deputies?
No, no, he
Okay.
said that, I mean, if it's like a misdemeanor or a low-level felony, you know, like you can bend the rule, okay? They're not dangerous, but him specifically had to be 2 deputies. Had to be 2 deputies.
Right. That was protocol.
That was protocol. So he said
Okay. Yeah.
nothing was unusual except that she broke policy. But then, like the news reporter brought up Lurch, and Boss Hogg said, exactly. That's the big problem. Somebody should have said something to Boss Hogg and said, hey, I don't know if Vicky got the memo, but there is a specific protocol just for Casey, and she's alone with him.
Yeah.
But again, the booking officer, you know, this is her boss. So, what are you going to say to your boss? You know, any employee, and this is not just here. This is any business or corporation or workplace. How often do you know a subordinate that challenges their boss? Hey, you're breaking policy. You know, it just don't happen.
But if policy was broken, do you feel her corrections officer should have reported that and said, "That's hey, the protocol has been broken here. Maybe raise the red flag." And,
as far as the booking officer?
Yeah, should she have reported that?
Well, she, she did when, and again, some of the dynamics here, you got to understand, this is a very fluid situation when you got inmates coming and going and corrections deputies transporting in and out. Friday morning is a big court date. There again, I think that's why this was strategically planned, because you knew how busy Friday mornings are. So sort of getting lost in the shuffle, so to speak. But again, for any subordinate to challenge their superior, it just don't happen.
How long did it take before officials recognized something wrong here? How many hours? What was the time span between
They left here at 9:41, and we were alerted about 3:30. The vans, were back and forth all morning. When they thought that Vicky White had gone home sick, they were checking on her, and her phone was going straight to voicemail. So when that happened, and then the booking officer realized that Casey White had not been returned to the DC, she immediately went to the other assistant director and reported that we can't get her on the phone. Her phone's going straight to voicemail, and we realized that Casey White had not been brought back to jail. So the assistant director got on the phone immediately, notified the sheriff's office. We began an immediate search of the courthouse. It didn't take too long to determine he was not in the courthouse, and for us to determine that there was no scheduled appearance for him at the courthouse for any purpose.
Okay, that blew it out of the water for Vicky Bangs real quick, because when the sheriff's department gets to the courthouse, everything he's saying is making sense. They realize he wasn't even supposed to be there. Nobody asked to see his ass. He had no mental health evaluation. So just imagine the look on all their faces looking at each other going, what the F is going on?
And he said it was a Friday. That's a hectic day. So this just goes to show the level of strategically planned out this was by this woman. Like how, and I'm not giving her props in a good way, but how good she planned this out to down to the day, the hour, after the first fans leave, where she only had her patrol car to use.
Mm-hmm.
Like she really planned this out to a T.
She knew. He said she knew. She knows because she's worked there for a long time. And Friday morning is a very hectic, busy morning. There's a lot of transporting going on, as he's explaining. So nobody's going to question. A subordinate is not going to question a director. If she says, hey, I'm taking him, I'm taking him.
Right.
Maybe she swung a bigger stick around there than what we've heard. Maybe she's not as gentile as they say.
Right. Where if they're not questioning their superior, I've questioned my superior at a past job for doing something. But that's neither here nor there. But in that kind of situation, I get it. You know, she's the boss.
And she knew what she was doing. We were on the fence about it a few days ago. We were like, do you think he really abducted her? And over the last few days, we've seen the video of them walking out very nonchalantly as if they're off to have lunch.
Yep.
That there was never a request for him to come to the courthouse. Never.
Did you catch him here? Did you catch him say something about him being sick? I'm sorry.
What's the nature of the special relationship? We've heard
It, you know, I struggle for words on how to put that out. Basically, what I was saying is a relationship, but we have no evidence it was a physical or sexual relationship. By special relationship, the inmates that reported that to us on Saturday said that he was getting special treatment. He was given special privileges, you know, allowed to do certain things by Miss White that other inmates weren't allowed to do.
such as
Making sure he got extra food on his tray. You know, the little things you can do in a jail setting that, you know, on the outside wouldn't mean anything, but in there it's a big deal. You know, if you get 2 biscuits instead of 1, that's a big deal in the jail. So, you know, just things like that. We also know that he was here in 2020. That's the first time we know they may have had contact. They may have been lifelong friends. We hadn't established that, but we do know she had contact with him in 2020.
Whoa, hang on. Okay, besides my face falling off when he confirmed, well, they didn't have sex or anything. Thank you, Boss Hog. He said they might have been lifelong friends, but we haven't confirmed that. What? Why would he throw that out there? He just said it.
That's very interesting. They're looking back at everything.
They're looking at everything, and they can't be lifelong friends because she's got almost 20 years on him.
Right.
What? And he just threw that out there. Nobody asked him if she knew him before he went to jail. This is getting more and more interesting, guys. Don't make sure you hit the sub button and get reminded. We might be doing 5 shows a day on this mess.
No kidding.
He was here for arraignment. As soon as his arraignment was over, he was transported back to the Department of Corrections. And we do know that the two maintained contact while he was in the state prison. There were visits that she made to the state prison to visit him during that time. He also, of course, came back here February 25th. There again, you know, how did this whole plan evolve and develop? You know, they had basically 2 years to plan this. In her position, she knew he was eventually going to come back here. This wasn't planned in a matter of days. This plan was thought out, and you know, it took, for sure. Could it have been planned from February 25th to now? Possibly. My personal feeling is it'd been planned for months, because she knew he was eventually going to come back here.
what kind of clues have you guys uncovered that lead you to believe?
Stream live TV from 85 plus channels and save up to $500.
This has been planned for quite some time. And any clues of where they might?
It's just the dynamics of the plan itself. I mean, you know, she knows he's coming back. They've maintained this relationship over the last 2 years. She knows he's going to eventually come back here. When we get notified when his trial set, she would have known that. So, you know, she sells her house. You know, she liquidates a lot of her assets. You know, she goes a few days before, buys this car, and, you know, and
Okay, so he says right there, we already knew about the house that she sold for way under market value, sells her house, and he said, and she liquidated a lot of her assets and then goes and buys that car. I'm wondering what else she did. She might have had a deferred comp, like a 401k, and got that money. There's a lot more going on. I think that they are really combing over her plan right now. And like he keeps saying, She had 2 years to plan this. She knew he would eventually come back to this facility, probably because she was going to make it happen. She knew he had trial coming in June, and he would be going to death row. She can't get him off death row. That's not her facility. She can't do a prison break from death row, correct? But she can get him out of the facility she's got control over.
This is some Shawshank Redemption planning. You know what I mean?
With a romantic, messed up twist.
Yeah. Because he said it could have happened the 23rd, but I don't believe it did, is what he said. He believes it's been in the works for
he says
during this 2 years.
This was not something that she just cooked up a couple of days ago. No, this has been in the works for a long time. A long time.
I agree.
So Boss Hogg is a very charming sheriff. Not the best detective. I do like him, though.
Yeah.
Make sure the car is sitting where she's going to abandon the patrol car. I mean, it's just too intricate a plan for it just to have come together. It was planned out for a while.
What's your biggest fear with this whole situation?
My biggest fear with them out there is that somebody's going to get hurt. He's a dangerous man. That's why we need to get him off the road, get him off the street. I obviously have concern for our fellow law enforcement officers, because one of these, sooner or later, some law enforcement officer out there is going to encounter this guy. And that's why I keep trying to stress when I talk to the media is to our brothers and sisters in blue, if you see this guy or get a call or report that somebody else has seen him, don't take any chances. Be on your P's and Q's, because he's a dangerous guy.
Are you fearful for Vicky's life as well?
I am. Even though she might have been 100% in this, that doesn't mean she's safe. I mean, he's the kind of guy that if she becomes a burden to him, an obstacle to him, he's liable to do harm to her. We know he's capable of it.
Yeah, and that's what we've been discussing. He's not in love with her like she's in love with him. So, like you said, when she becomes an obstacle to him, he's going to do the same thing. Roger said, sounds like you all need to solve this crime. We're working on it, buddy.
That's right.
Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yes, we're working on it. We're putting our heads together. You're going to be super impressed.
Is this a situation where you think Vicky was blinded by love?
It's, I always say that they don't call these guys con men for nothing. They con. And it's not the first time a female corrections officer has been wooed by some inmate. So
I believe that 100%. These aren't your normal people, okay? He said they're con men for a reason. They're manipulative. Look at the stuff they get away with. The first time they're charged with a crime isn't the first time they did it. It's the first time they're caught.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that 100%. But I just think she is an idiot.
Yeah, and
it's not the first time.
They're in there. Don't they work like? Don't guards usually do like 4 on 4 off 12-hour shifts or something like that? So they're in there, like, basically they live there more at the jail with these inmates than they are at home, is usually what I've heard. So,
and I don't know how big the facility is or their shifts, if they do 12 and 12, I don't know.
Right. I'd be curious to know that.
Or if they do a 7-day, like 8-hour stretch a day, and then they have 3 days off. I don't know how they do it. But getting love advice from Boss Hogg is a good one, though.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately it happens. And as I said, they spend most of their waking hours with these guys. They spend more time with them than they do with their own family. So
you're right, Shan. He just said it right there. They spend more
I just said that.
They spend more time with these guys and their own families. I mean, more waking hours with these guys and their own families. I'm going to ask the question again. We asked it yesterday morning. just based on this case alone and a few others we've heard about, do you think female officers should have any contact with the male prisoners? You guys put in there what you think.
It comes as a surprise that sometimes this happens. No.
I give families a home, not just a place to stay.
Casey White in 2015 made threats against his ex-girlfriend that he would kill her. How concerned are you for the ex-girlfriend now that he's on the run?
I'm concerned for anybody that has ever crossed paths with him that has in a bad way. You know, I think right now his focus on is staying out and getting away. Now, if the longer this draws on, the more risk some of those people may be in. We're on the 6th day now, so we need to bring this to an end. We need to get him off the street.
Do you think this is going to come to a peaceful ending?
We're hoping and praying it does. There's obviously a possibility it won't. I guess what I would hope would happen is that Vicky would get tired of this. She'd realize what she's done and at least turn herself in and then help us find Casey White. Obviously the best case scenario, if we caught them both together and they surrendered and we get them back behind bars. It's a very unfortunate situation, and it's very alarming and disturbing and depressing that one of our employees was involved in it. But it is what it is. We just got to deal with it.
One last question. What can you tell? I mean, obviously, we know Casey White is an extremely dangerous, bad person. But what do we know about his personality? How was he in terms of interacting with the other inmates, interacting with the staff members? What can you tell us about who he is?
I'm not aware that we had any issues here between him and other inmates. I think there were some issues when he was in prison. And there could have been some issues here I'm not aware of. It's a pretty common thing to have fights in jails. Has he been involved in any of those fights? I'm not sure. He's a dangerous man. I mean, he's just unpredictable. You don't know what he might do.
Sheriff, anything else you need to add that I haven't asked you?
Not that I can think of.
One thing I was noticing listening, you mentioned several times how her knowledge of the inner workings here aided in her ability to get him out. How much more difficult does that make y'all's job in finding them?
Well, she had knowledge the general public doesn't have about how the system works. And she's obviously, I think, played that to her advantage. And there again, that's why I don't think anyone else was involved in it, because it's such an intricate plan, and she pulled it off. That's just the bottom line. She pulled it off. Well, the latest development.
And there it is. She pulled it off. She knows, she has knowledge that the general public doesn't have, and she pulled it off. I mean, he's putting it right there. I mean, he's not even saying she's a suspect. He's flat out accusing her. She is part of this.
And he picked and knew to pick the right guard, the head guard. He knew who to pick, in my opinion, to start playing with.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm wondering, AP said he's not going back to prison. I don't think so either. I think it's either going to be he gets rid of her, moves on his way, and they find her. They continue hiding out together, or we're going to see a blaze of glory. BT, I wonder if they are glued to the TV and online. I wonder if she bought a burner phone before she went missing. Obviously, she was probably doing everything in cash. Or if they have a TV, they would just hook to an antenna, not a smart TV, because she knows how they track people. She knows that stuff. And they're keeping up with where they're looking for them at.
And that's what's scary. He watched his wording when they said something about how do you think this is going to end? He said, I pray that it ends well, that nothing bad happens and that they turn themselves in, instead of saying, this is going to end where we find him and that's it. he's a goner, because then if he is watching, that's not good for his mentality, because he will go bananas, which, ugh, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared about this one.
It's something to definitely keep our eyes on.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling she's got enough supplies to keep them busy for quite a while.
I think so. Liquidated her assets. Yeah,
and I'd like to know how she gets that kind of cash out, because when you start taking big amounts of cash out, not that I've ever had that problem, but you get flagged by the IRS.
Yep. And it's you can't just go up to your teller. You've got to go into the little office, there in the bank, and it's not an easy task to take out a large amount of cash. It's not just, hey, I need this in, 20s and hundreds, it doesn't work that way.
No. So I'm just kind of wondering how long this process proceeded. Her mother-in-law said that she was very frugal and she did have a lot of money. You heard the sheriff there saying she liquidated a lot of her assets. They already know these things. They probably know how much money she had on her that day, or a good ballpark. They know the weapons. They know the car she bought. They know, of course, she ditched the police cruiser. It's crazy to say the least. Trice said, I wonder where the ex and her sister live. Her ex-husband passed away in January from complications of Parkinson's. I did not know she had a sister.
I didn't either.
Now they could have a police scanner with them.
Yep.
She knows how it works on the other end.
She knows the game inside and out. She knows every move they're going to make, and they've got a big head start. Not only 6 hours, we're into 6 days. So, and they have no idea where they're at. They've got 6 days ahead.
This is day 7. They went missing last Friday.
That's right, day 7.
Oh, hang on, Trice. His ex, the one he threatened to kill. I read an article this morning that they have her in protective custody because he did say that if he was released, he would kill her. I don't think that he was joking. I think he actually wants to kill her. And they've also reopened an investigation, or opened an investigation from another girlfriend of his, Christy Shelton, from 2008, where it was reported a suicide, and now they're looking into it a little further. He's a bad dude. He's not a good person.
I'm sorry, but this lady makes me really upset. Look at how much danger she's put this ex-girlfriend in, the public in. For what? For what? Love? Really? Just, this is on her. This is on her.
For what? For this on the screen. That's what she's cuddling right now.
Ugh. Yeah, this is on her. Because he couldn't walk out there by himself.
Nope. No, she had to get him out. No, and that's why I think that she had to get this done, because she knew that he was going to be going to trial. They've already said he was facing the death penalty. If found guilty, he was going to be found guilty. Every light is green. Every finger's pointing at him for the last crime he committed. She can't break him out of death row, but she can get him out of her own facility.
Right.
Yeah.
She knew time was ticking.
Yeah. What's on the screen is what she did all this for. In a nutshell, as sick it is, as twisted as it is, as much as we don't understand it, that's what she's done all this for.
And put everybody in danger. And that really ticks me off.
Getting her groove on with Lurch. That's why there is a team of U.S. Marshals, FBI, you name it, after them. And a public panic in a lot of areas.
I'm a little freaked out, to be honest. I really am. I mean, it's kind of got me freaked out.
Yeah.
But
it's a freaky situation, especially when you're, we've all had that girlfriend who tells us about their new boyfriend, and you're like, I think I'd throw that one back in the pond and keep fishing. Totally different story here. This man is dangerous. He's a homicidal maniac.
He doesn't care. He has no F's. He just doesn't care. God, that's scary.
Fascinates the hell out of me. I mean, there's something, we've all heard the song, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. Vicky's the opposite. I'll do anything for love, and I will do that.
Yeah. She heard them lyrics wrong.
She wrote a whole new song.
Yes, she did.
All right, guys, thanks for another great show. I got to start getting ready for our members live at noon. Set your reminder. Make sure you're there. If you're not a member, there's a link on the channel. Welcome. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's our Mother's Day, the CLL way. So we're going to continue following this case. I'm not going to shut my mouth about this for a very long time because, like I said, it fascinates the hell out of me. It does. I just can't understand it.
It's unbelievable. But thank you, Brooks. Thank you so much.
Thanks, girlfriend. I'll text you after this.
All
right. Thomas, wherever the takedown happens, it's going to be dramatic. Oh, I think so too. I think when they finally come across them, well, they already said he's a shoot to kill prisoner. The marshals did. I mean, that tells me everything I need to know. It's like we don't even want to take his ass back to jail. That's crazy. That's crazy. So again, I'm going to send you guys off into your weekend. If I don't catch you in the members live, then I'll see you in Discord, or come, check out the Facebook group, Crime Lines and Lies, or the page. Love hearing from you guys in between shows. Anything that develops over the weekend, set your reminders. I'll jump in and we'll talk about it. And if not, then I'll see you back here Monday morning. You guys are the best community, the best chat on YouTube. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.